Hello, everybody. I am Joey Sparks, and God's mercies are new again this morning.
This morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind.
Picture yourself being underwater, maybe in a pool or in the ocean, swimming somewhere, and you could begin to feel that need to breathe, right? And you rise up to the surface, your head pokes through the water. Can you imagine how silly it would be to keep on holding your breath as soon as your head crosses that surface of the water? That your head comes up out of the water, and the first thing you do is just keep holding your breath. I venture to say it might be impossible to do that. It might be impossible to overcome that instinct, that primal instinct within us. I think that's a helpful illustration for what Paul says about the process of thanksgiving in 2 Thessalonians 1 and verse 3. He says, we ought always to give thanks to God for you, brothers, as is right. As is right. It's right to give thanks to God about you. So when we are without air, we're holding on to whatever little air we have under the water, and then we're exposed to that oxygen above the surface, it's right to take a breath. We're in need of it. We're exposed to it. So the right thing to do is to take it in, to breathe it in. Paul says, I observe something that's great, your faithfulness. So it's right to be grateful for that great thing. It's right to pause and say to God, thank you for their faithfulness. It's right. When something great happens, when something great is observed, it's right to be grateful about it. It's what the psalmist indicates. Psalm 100. This is maybe one of the most familiar songs when it comes to Thanksgiving. It's verse 4 that he says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. Why? Verse 5, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. It's right to thank God. Why? Because he's good. For he is good. For he is loving, and that love endures forever. Give thanks because he is good. Thus, it is right to give thanks to him. Now, you'll notice in later in the verses of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, he's going to talk about boasting about them and being able to say in verse 3 that he gives thanks for them and it's right. Helps us to see that this boasting is a healthy boasting. It's similar to what he would say about himself in the letter to 2 Corinthians, where he boasts about himself. There it's even a little bit more sarcastic, but it's thanking God for bringing him through suffering, as it were. And here the idea is he's not boasting in them out of pride or arrogance. He's boasting in them because they continue to endure steadfastly despite opposition. So his word for boast is rooted in gratitude and thanksgiving. Maybe that's helpful for us to not seek to boast out of attention, boast out of this sense of feeling self-important, but instead to boast, quote, boast out of gratitude for God and his goodness. Give thanks to God because it is right. We thank you for your time this morning. It's our prayer. God's timeless word will be on your mind all day today.
I woke up this morning.